Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and I do need to apologize, I haven't had a chance yet to update the graphic of channel members, but I want to give them a huge shout out here first. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. If you're interested in joining, there's a link down below. Otherwise, guys, make sure you subscribe. I got a comment the other day saying, why do you ask people to subscribe to your channel before they've actually seen the video? Because my data shows, and this is the truth because I do the same thing, the vast majority of us do not stay until the end of the video. So I ask you to subscribe before the video because most people aren't watching at the end when I would have asked anyway. So there you go. Anyway, let's get into our video and let's talk about the common mod mistakes we're making in Galaxy of Heroes. Let's go. This is obviously because of some of the roster reviews I've done and things that I see that I want to make sure I'm sharing with the vast majority of everybody. So the first thing is arrow slicing. Now, this is something that I personally feel very strongly about. I know there's other people who may have a different opinion than me, but you guys will notice that any of my arrows, and if I just would sort my mods by speed here, just for the sake of argument, you'll notice that any arrow that I have that has a speed primary in the arrow slot, right? Doesn't matter the mod set. None of them are further than this, right? That I have not ever put any more slicing other than taking them to 6 dot. This is because this is because once you get it to this point, you cannot increase the speed anymore. So all you're doing at that point is increasing the secondary stats. And in some cases, you may say, oh yeah, but Phil, some of these secondary stats are really good. Like you could benefit from that. Yes, I could. But I myself am not someone who I feel I need to juice my stats in this way when there's still plenty of other mods that I want to be investing in to get more speed and faster characters. So I don't want to be investing in something where I'm hindering the ability to gain speed on my mods. Maybe down the line eventually I would start doing that, but I think for the current moment it just doesn't make enough sense for me to be trying to slice for more of these things. Because as you'll see here, right? You know, let's just go to Jedi Master Kenobi. I mean, I could get health percent, offense, but, you know, the defense and the health aren't, the flat health aren't going to be quite as big of boosts. So I'm, hindering myself comparative to this mod here that I had on, say, Lord Vader, where I've got 20 speed here. I've got 15% defense. Tenacity, there's no slicing, so that's fine. And then 3% health, which is pretty good that, any one of these, I'd love to have more speed on it, but the defense isn't horrible on someone like Lord Vader. And then we go to, say, my Darth Malak, where I've got 23 speed, defense percent, health percent, tenacity. All of those help Darth Malak. So in that regard, yeah, I'm sacrificing a little bit of speed, but I'm gaining a lot more in terms of other stats, that I'm gaining a lot more protection than I could if I was using a speed mod. So, using like a speed primary, where, let's see, like here, like 5% protection comparative to getting this and more speed, I'll gladly take, this mod there. So again, just playing, making the, the case here, making the argument, you guys can see that, like, you can get some decent protection, but 24% is a lot more, and then I'm getting a lot of speed as well. So arrow slicing, unless if it's a speed primary, don't take it any further than 6 dot. You save that for the rest of your mods and hopefully get some better ones. Whoops, and I think my Discord's going to crash. Or Discord, I think my BlueStacks is about to crap out on me here. Let's see. Oh, no. Is it just not registering that I'm, like, trying to scroll down? Come on, thing. Oh, that's right. All right, there we go. All right. Remember, guys, that there's the 5 mod stages. I will link this in the description down below. This is something that I live by, and I, try to my best to, put this on you. That you're first just going to acquire mods. So you got, like, Farm Boy Luke. I'm just going to throw mods on you. Then I'm going to worry about, okay, do those mods have speed? So somebody like Greedo, I'm, hopefully going to have some mods on him that have, like, decent speed because I'm trying to get him better. Then you're going to get to that point where, okay, I need speed +1, I call it. And +1 being +1 desired secondary. So if I would just use Daka as an example here, I've got, I want her to have health, I've got speed, and hey, protection is nice. Hey, health and potency are both nice. Potency is nice for her. Hey, potency again. Like you're trying to go for speed plus another statistic that help that character succeed in Galaxy of Heroes. Then we're going to move on to our king. Obviously, we can't go without talking about our king here. You want to go to, say, what I call speed +2, where you're not only getting speed, but you're looking at 2 other secondaries, in this example, health and tenacity, that are helping your character. The crit chance is okay, not really that great. Wampa doesn't really need that much critical chance, but the health and tenacity, awesome mod. Similarly here, right, this one is all 3. I love that mod. That's such a great mod for Wampa. But here, like flat protection, not really helping me that much, but offense and tenacity, again, helping Wampa get through it. Here, the potency is kind of he doesn't really need a ton of potency, but health, offense. And then finally up here, only tenacity, so I could use a little bit better stats there. But you guys get the general concept there, that you're trying to look for mods that have like 2 desirable secondaries plus speed. And when you think about that, when you're slicing a mod like this, where it's speed plus these 2 secondaries, right? In this example, I have a 75% chance to roll a stat that will help Wampa. That our king has a set. When I was slicing this mod, when I'm doing those things, I have a 75% chance of landing on something that will benefit my account. So if I was to, calibrate this mod and take away this flat defense, I have a 75% chance to roll to a stat that will make Wampa a better character. Because there is that 25% chance that defense rolls again. So, keep that in mind as you're doing this. Then finally, let's go to someone like Wrecker. And where in this case, this mod down here, it's got potency, defense, health percent, and speed. It is, speed plus 3. This is kind of what I call fine tuning. This mod has desirable secondaries on every single slot for him, this specific mod, like that he can benefit from potency, defense, health, and speed all together. So it's a great mod. Whatever it rolls next makes him better. Similarly up here, this one's not quite as good. I think this one's good. Where's another one? There's one other one I wanted to share. This one, another example up here, right, where you're fine-tuning potency, defense, health, and speed. Again, really good stats for Wrecker. That you're trying to get to that point where every stat, not just like a couple of them. In this example, right, like the offense not doing a lot, protection not, flat protection, okay. But that every single stat is working to benefit that character. That's a fine-tuned mod and a fine-tuned character when every single statistic is making that character a better thing. That you think we need him to be a little bit fast. He wants defense because he's a tank. He wants health because he's a tank. And he needs potency to land stuns. So win-win all around. That's fine-tuning. Then remember, you have trickle-down modding. So for this example, I chose a couple of characters where, let's start with Moff Gideon. That he's starting out at 100 plus 166 speed. We move on to Piet, who's at 158. Then down to, say, Adrad, who's 135. Darth Nihilus, 112. And finally, Nute Gunray at 98. So that, and why am I, saying what trickle-down modding? Because people are like, oh, trickle-down economy doesn't work, yada, yada, yada. What I'm saying is that if Moff Gideon gets a better mod, maybe that mod goes to Piet. And then Piet's mod goes to Admiral Raddus, and Darth Nihilus, and Admiral Raddus's goes to Darth Nihilus, and Darth Nihilus goes to Nute Gunray, and Nute Gunray's goes to Farm Boy Luke or whoever. That mod, each character got progressively better along the way, trickling down to those other characters in your roster. This is one of the most important things you can do. When you get a mod, and maybe it doesn't go on Moff Gideon, maybe it goes on Admiral Raddus, and then works its way down. But that concept is, you instead of, getting a mod and keeping it on a character just because it rolled, you might want to move it to somebody else, and then their mod kind of moves down and makes everybody a little bit better. That is one of the keys to modding in this game, is that as you replace mods, move them down onto other characters. Don't just keep them on somebody because it sat there. Find where it really belongs. So that is one of the big things you can do to boost your account. When you get a really good one, figure out who it goes on to, and then move that mod down the line. Another thing that you want to look at when you're looking for mods is what I call multi-use mods. And you may think, all these are kind of rolling together. Yes, because all things in mods roll together. So in this example, with multi-use mods, what you want to be doing is, we'll go to Starkiller. We're going to look at the diamond on all these characters. This diamond for Starkiller, 21 speed, almost 7% offense, and 3% max health. That's a pretty good mod for Starkiller. He's going to use all of those stats. Let's go on now to to our Maul here, right? A little bit more health, not quite as much speed, not quite as much offense as the Starkiller mod. Very intentionally done because under Lord Vader, we want him to have a good bit of health. Obviously, extra offense helps him, and then some speed there just to make him fast, right? We like that about Maul. Another good one, we've got somebody like Grand Inquisitor, who doesn't have quite as much offense, but it rolled good protection and tenacity, where those stats can benefit him in terms of keeping debuffs off, but also to make him a little bit more, give him more survivability with that protection percent can be really nice. Not quite as much speed as I would like, but again, on a character who still can be, relatively fast. We move on with this same concept to someone like Dark Trooper, where it's got some okay stats, right? 4% protection, flat, but hey, almost 6% offense, and then, 11 speed. He's not that fast, but he needs to hit extremely hard. That's how you can use someone like Dark Trooper. And then finally, we'll go down to our Beskar Armor Mando, who's also got a gold diamond here. Protection percent, lots of offense, a little bit of tenacity, and then 15 speed. You could make the argument, Phil, you should switch these between, Dark Trooper and Beskar Armor Mando, but I like that Beskar Armor Mando is a little bit quicker, but also the protection percent I find a lot better for Beskar Armor Mando because I don't need those stats on Dark Trooper because he's not meant to survive. He just needs to hit hard. So, again, finding those situations where each of these mods can benefit someone in your roster. That if Dark Trooper's mod slices and rolls a lot of speed, I need to move that off of him and give him a mod that's going to continually, maybe that mod moves to Beskar Armor Mando and Beskar Armor Mando's moves to Dark Trooper because for the offense percent. So, keep that. Next thing, only slice mods that have speed on them. I cannot stand when I see somebody with mod slices that, there's no speed on the mod. Always make sure you've got speed on your mods. That is the most important thing you can do, is that every single mod has speed on it. Please, please, please. Okay. And now the reason I say that, because there's literally only one character in this game who doesn't benefit from speed in any way, shape, or form, and that is Merrin, who literally has her speed set to 0 and only can gain turn meter. So outside of Merrin, no other character benefits from having no speed. So you only want to be slicing those mods that have speed on them. Because let's say you go to Merrin, and I've just got garbage mods on my Merrin. Let's say I increase this mod for the sake of argument. I throw this mod and do some slicing, and maybe it rolls to 15 speed. Okay, I don't want that on Merrin anymore. I can move that mod to somebody else, and maybe Merrin gets a mod with 9 speed, but that's better than her having one at 15 that isn't going to help her. So, again, that concept of, you're kind of trickling down, but that there's only one character who doesn't benefit from speed, so you're going to find somebody who that mod can go on. And then, the primary stat thing. So this is important, and I want to show these two potency mods here. So this potency mod, right, it has its offense, 15 speed. Other than that, there's some protection percent, but there's no potency percentage. And in this case, it's one where I love the primary stat on this, and it rolled really good speed. And this was probably a mod I got in an event, because I normally wouldn't buy a mod like this, because I try to match a mod to say, hey, if it's a potency mod, I want to have potency on it. Because if you're modding somebody for potency, you want them to have potency. If you're modding somebody for offense, you want them to have offense. So you want to try and have that stat somewhere, whether it's in the primary or the secondary. So again, it doesn't always happen that way, but that's something I like to aim for. So in this case, I can find characters who maybe I don't need quite as much potency on because them applying debuffs isn't as big of a deal, but can still benefit from it. So that's one on her. And then another example on my Bastila Shan, where it's got health percent, which is desirable. She doesn't need a ton of potency, but 20 speed on her, I'll take it. And then this mod is another one I got from a random event where, 21 speed. I haven't even sliced this mod again because it's just, critical chance. It's got nice offense. If that was a crit chance mod, I'd be rolling, jumping for joy, but it's potency, so it's okay. It's not the best. You make do with what you can. So sometimes there's that case of, trying to that the primary stat is good and maybe that it's on a set that isn't quite as good, or in that, Bastila case, right? That the primary stat's kind of trash, but the secondaries are good enough that they need to be on somebody. Because, again, like I was showing you, you normally want to match those stats that you guys see with my Wampa here. We've got tenacity and a tenacity set. Tenacity primary with the tenacity set. Again, tenacity. By matching, I'm getting the most out of that mod. That not only am I getting this set bonus, because I'm trying to boost his tenacity, but I'm getting it on the secondary stat as well. So that matching principle is very, very important if you want to continue to build your account to that point where you've got really solid mods. That's how you can do it. And then I'm going to use my Royal Guard as an example where I've got health percent. And you cannot have the same primary stat as a secondary. So you'll notice over here, I cannot get defense percent and defense percent down here. So I've got health percent on this health mod. I'm doubling down on that statistic. Same thing over here, right? I've got defense percent and I've got health percent on a health percent mod. You're trying to maximize the amount of health on this character by matching those stats. So, and the other way to think about that too is, hey, you kind of want some protection on your tanks, right? That you want to try and match everything together so that way you have a really, really solid character. And then the final little bit of thing here is to stockpile your mods. Maybe you get a mod that you're not sure where you're going to use that, or you don't really need it right now. Stockpile it, because eventually you might need it. And this actually is kind of why I'm in the point where I've run out of mod slicing materials, is because I have mods like maybe this one on Ezra, or this one, where, okay, it's not going to have a lot of speed. But it's got, health percent, tenacity. It's a decent mod. Maybe I slice this up one day because I need somebody who's going to hit hard and they don't really need that much speed. So I'd use this. And now I can, move that onto somebody else, right? And so you find these mods, or maybe you're like, hey, I could slice this one up. Or, hey, this mod looks pretty decent. I could use this. That you kind of move through and you stockpile these mods that maybe eventually someone can use a mod like this and you're rocking and rolling, right? And then another good one, I actually found this one on Tusken Raider, forgot I had it, but 18 speed, tenacity with, percent health and potency. This is a mod that I should probably work on. I should probably slice this up actually, because that's really good. The 18 speed is solid. That can get me into the 20s pretty easily here. So, but again, this is a mod that I've just stockpiled, that I'm sitting on in my inventory, that maybe eventually I find someone who could use this. So again, guys, those are just some mistakes, advice. I do one of these all the time after streaming, because I just find so often that players are kind of, when you're in your 5 modding stages, so many players try to skip to the wrecker stage where you're just going to find the best mods for that character and you sell everything else. No. Do not do that. Do not do that. What you want to do is slowly build your way into it. Yeah, you know what? Build your mods up. Get to the point where, okay, I'm just acquiring mods. Okay, I got to worry about speed now. Now I can worry about speed +1, because if you're only searching for mods that are perfect, you're very rarely going to find them. Comparative to, hey, I found this mod that's pretty good. Oh, you know what? It rolled a lot of offense. I'm going to put that on so-and-so instead of this character. That's kind of how I've gotten to this point. A couple other things, I do manually mod. I don't, all of my characters are manually modded. I do not use hot utils. I don't use Grand Ivory. I've manually modded my roster. That is something players ask me a lot. And then the other thing in terms of mod management that I do is I have my base sets here. So these are sets for characters that these are their mods at the current state, right? And I have to update this every so often. These mods, when I do the Reva mission or when I have to remod, I can put them back on right away. I know who they went to. And this, as much work as it can be, I've found saves me not just so much, the time it can save is okay, who is this one going on? But it keeps my mods consistent. Because one of the big things I see players make a mistake of is they switch mods around. Their turn order gets messed up, and now they don't know what to do, because you get so used to certain turn orders in teams that if you mess that up for just a single battle, it throws you for a loop. So it's one of the reasons I try to manually mod, is because my turn order is very specific, and I try to be very meticulous with that. So that's the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment. I love all you. May the force be with you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.